This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my volleyball coach reaction to Haikyuu Season 1, Episode 8, Round 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the video from last week where I tried to execute some of Hinata's techniques to see if they're actually realistic. Make sure you check that video linked in the description box. Thanks for the additional translation of Guardian Angel. I always thought that Guardian Deity sounded a little funny, and Guardian Angel definitely sounds more appropriate to the English language, but I can see where the confusion comes in because deity probably means God, and maybe the word means actual God in Japanese, but then in the English culture, we tend to use the word Guardian Angel like an actual angel is watching over you. I think it's interesting that Haikyuu chose the libero as the guardian position. I think a lot of other countries would have chosen maybe a setter or a hitter, like a middle blocker or an opposite hitter, as kind of the guardian, the protector of the team, but that just goes to show how much Japanese culture volleyball values defense and ball control, and it shows in the way they play. This is a pretty cool parallel that Oikawa is being related to Alexander the Great. Although I don't know if I agree with that analogy, I do think that Oikawa is actually a great setter and knows how to make his teammates amazing. And a lot of you guys are big fans of Oikawa, so during my second round of watching Haikyuu, I'm going to pay closer attention to some of the better things that Oikawa does instead of the bad things that he does. And maybe I might develop a deeper appreciation for him over time. I do plan on doing commentary and reacting to some of the VNL matches, so if you want to learn more about professional level volleyball, make sure you stay tuned for those videos. Also, don't forget to watch all my round 1 reaction videos to every episode from season 1 to season 4, linked in the playlist below. Now let's get this Haikyuu party started. Sound like a cannonball. First appearance of the Guardian Angel, not the Guardian Deity. I think it's funny how he's still holding his jacket behind him. Let's look at that face. This is where some of the emotion captured in general manga illustration definitely shows through in the anime. Let's first look at Hinata's like anxiety, surprise, shock expression. Even his shirt has like that, almost like an electric shockwave, like he's being shocked. And it goes all the way to Hinata's mouth here, where even that has like the shockwave on his mouth. And Nishinoya just looks like he's gonna murder somebody. You can't even see the irises, really downward angle of his eyebrows. And if you notice in a lot of the mangas, when they're showing intense anger, they have these little lines going across. So I think it's cool that they have adapted some of that into the animations. And that vein popping out from Nishinoya's hand, and actually Nishinoya looks like a Japanese demon. You see his hair. If you've been enjoying my reaction videos, please consider supporting Elevate Yourself by joining our Patreon, where you get access to exclusive content every month, such as early access to my reaction videos, or you can leave a super thanks in this video, and all the money from your support goes directly back into Elevate Yourself to make better videos for you guys. Now let's get back to the show. Can always appreciate some good old-fashioned illustration. I like how they made this conversation so intense. Noya-san! Tall guy with a nasty glare. Man, it's interesting that Nishinoya keeps track of every volleyball game, even back all the way to middle school. Because the grades. Oh. Oh man. It's funny how such an intense volleyball nerd can still be a high school boy at the end of the day, wanting to look cool and wanting to go for the girls. Yeah, black uniforms are pretty cool. And then we have Shimizu. That's the perfect combination of the pretty girls in a black uniform. I just had a conversation about hyper kids with my wife the other day, and being an art teacher, I have a lot of students that are diagnosed with ADHD, and it's really interesting that students who are hyperactive, in my opinion, they just need a very, very high stimulation to keep them focused, and I actually see it as a superpower. Sometimes students like that can feel overwhelmed with all their thoughts, but on the same token, their brain actually has the ability to manage multiple thoughts at once that the average person doesn't. And if you can give them the tools or put them in a position where they can use that superpower to be able to process multiple things at once, you get a certain level of calmness. And I can definitely relate to that because as a kid, the most common feedback that I received on my report card and at the parent conferences was that he's very respectful but cannot sit still, bothers other students, talks too much, too hyperactive. And so I think that was a big part of the reason why I never really did that well in school. And it wasn't until I went to college and had a chance to sign up for all the activities I wanted, all the classes I wanted, and I actually overloaded on classes, meaning I signed up for more than the recommended units. And I ended up doing really well in college because I had a lot of stimulation from multiple areas, and somehow that helped me focus in a little bit more. So I can definitely relate to Nishinoya here, where he's got all this energy, but in the most intense moments, that's when he's the calmest, because that's when he's able to utilize his hyperactivity to focus on all the things that are required to be a great passer. These details are hilarious. It just made me crack up. I was like, why is his face pink? And I remember Shimizu walking away is because she slapped him when Nishinoya was trying to dive to hug her. He's still smiling. He probably is savoring that slap. Now we get to really relive this emotional moment. I remember I was so confused as to why Noya was so intense about this. This was probably the first time I felt emotional in watching Haikyuu. This was the first backstory that really drew me into the emotional aspect of Haikyuu. I was still confused at the time where, what do they mean by connecting? But it's keeping the rally alive and starting the connection between your teammates. Moikai. Ese. Trying to work on my Japanese. That's what everyone thinks I play. Libero because I'm short. Can't stand that comment. The Guardian God. So why do they use Guardian God in this translation, but in another one they say Guardian Deity? This is one of the truest statements in volleyball. We've just been talking about this during our girls volleyball camps we've been doing this summer. But even though spiking might be the most fun and the most flashy and the final touch of the play, passing absolutely is the most important skill. If you had to choose between having great hitters and okay passers versus great passers and okay hitters, 9 times out of 10, the team that has amazing passers with okay hitters is going to beat the team that has okay passers and great hitters. The echo, senpai, senpai, senpai. That was funny. So intense. I don't think I was able to enjoy this humor watching the first time around because I was so focused on this story, but this is hilarious. And everyone is being dramatic because they're thinking, ah, Nishinoya is just being Nishinoya. Yeah, sometimes the better athletes aren't always aware of what they do because they just do it and they can't explain it. Libero. Oh, this is another great instructional animations. Guardian God of Karasuno. That sounds cool. You just get more opportunities to attack. Yeah, as a hitter, I love it when a good libero can cover me because then I'm not worried about getting blocked because I know I'm going to get another opportunity. Don't say that name so carelessly. What does he mean by that? You were talking about Asahi-san. Who is he? I wonder why Tanaka is saying don't say that name too carelessly if he's saying it respectfully, like Asahi-san. Ese. It's funny how even Nishinoya is saying, hey, you're too short to be an ace, but then... Okay, never mind. No, he's saying like, hey, even at your height, I like the fact that you want to become the ace. This is so typical of high school conversation. It's about like who can be cooler or sound cooler. That's true. The amazing digs are just as crowd going, getting exciting as amazing spikes. And there's some people that just love to pass. Even if you give them a chance to hit, they're gonna say, I'd rather pass. That reminds me, one of the most common questions I receive is, what position should I play? The first question I ask them is, what skill brings you the most joy, or which skill do you enjoy executing the most? And I think that's the best place to start. Definitely if you're on a team, you want to play the position that's going to help the team or wherever your coach places you. But if you're on your own as an adult, or maybe you're not playing for a team and you're playing for fun, always choose a position that brings you the most joy, because that's going to motivate you to work harder to improve those skills. I think Nishinoya is a great example. He said even if he's taller, he would still play libero because he just loves receiving so much. Oh, he said decoy. Because that's what Karasuno, or that's what Kageyama told him. I like how they're having an extended conversation as Hinata's trying to work through his own volleyball desires and journey of what he wants out of his experience. So that was a cool scene. Yeah, then your position is just as important, and then Kageyama's nodding in the back. Cool detail. And Nishinoya is just giving him so much confidence, saying, you are the most formidable decoy. Man, definitely makes you appreciate Nishinoya as a teammate. He always finds ways to make people feel great about what they're doing. It's been a while since I've talked about the illustration and the food. Look at this beautiful, I think they're breadsticks on the right in the basket. You can see how well they've illustrated the transparency of the plastic wrapping, because we have the glare on the left side and then a light gray in the middle, and then also a glare going across the center of some of the packages just to show the wrinkliness of the plastic packaging. And even the labels of those boxes and the shelf above, they have like the strip of tape. Amazing detail. And the cabbage on the bottom must have been really difficult to paint, because you have probably 6 or 7 different types of greens without any sharp lines, and then you got the shadow from the shelf above casted over the wrinkly texture of the cabbage. Very well done cabbage there. Oh, so we see the smoke rising from the left. We know who he's talking to. I forgot what convinced Ukai to finally be able to coach, or to want to coach Karasuno. But I can understand the younger Ukai, how he doesn't want to just be recruited because of his name. Yeah, I don't want to be babysitting a bunch of high school kids either. It's got to be worth my time if I'm going to give up my time to be coaching. Oh, you see this little sneaky smile expression. Usually Takeda-sensei has just a very calm, nice facial expression, but this is the first time he's had a little bit of a conniving, sneaky smile here. So he's smiling, but then the eyebrows are slightly downward, and it's really great how they communicated such a subtle smile from here. Really well animated emotion here, because he's trying to tell him, like, look, you don't know how good these guys are. And he's even got Ukai intrigued a little bit with that statement. Burned his hand on the cigarette. Even though I've watched this anime already, even seeing the scene where Suga is waiting at the crosswalk across the street makes me feel intrigued, like what's gonna happen next. Now it's time for our halftime snack time from our sponsors, Sakurako and Tokyo Treat, which is a monthly subscription service where you get authentic Japanese snacks delivered right to your door every single month. First, let's try some snacks from a more traditional selection from Sakurako. It says on the package, fancy nuts, with no description of what it's gonna taste like, so I'm excited to see what flavor it has. Kinda almost looks like it's got some powdered sugar on the outside. Let's listen to the crunch. Definitely an almond with almost like a milk sugar. It's not just straight powdered sugar, it's got a little flavor to it. Very unique type of sweetness. Kind of reminds me of condensed milk. One thing I love about the Sakurako and Tokyo Treat boxes are their jellies. So it looks like we got a pear jelly here. You can even see kind of these minced portions of pear inside. That's one thing I never got over as a kid, is jellies. I think I'm supposed to rip it open like this. Wow. I'm so used to American style jellies where there's a lot of artificial sweeteners and flavors, but this is the perfect level of sweetness, like it's made from all natural fruit. And I haven't even got to the pear chunks yet. Man, this is yummy. Love those little pear bits inside. I don't even know if I'm eating this correctly, but this is so delicious. All gone. Refreshing. Now we'll try treats from a more modern selection from Tokyo Treat. Based on the packaging, it looks like matcha and cherries, because we got cherry blossoms here. Don't know if it's a cracker. Feels like other packaging inside too. Alright, kind of got that square starburst type packaging. Wow, look at that. Pink on the inside, green on the outside. It's got a little cream on the inside too. I think it's like more of a chocolate matcha, almost like a Kit Kat cream. Very unique texture. And lastly, we got my all-time favorite Pocky snacks. Growing up in the US, we only had access to chocolate and strawberry, but now that I am subscribed to the Tokyo Treats, I think almost every month there's like a different unique flavor of Pocky. We got chocolate, salty vanilla. And of course, each one comes with multiple fun packs. Got that same light pretzel taste and texture. Definitely tastes like vanilla ice cream with a strong vanilla bean flavor. Let's get a couple more. This is yummy. We gotta give you guys the crunch preview. If you want to try your own authentic Japanese snacks from Sakurako or Tokyo Treat, make sure you use my discount code and link in the description box to get $5 off your first order so you can enjoy your treats while watching Haikyuu together with me, and it's a great way to support the channel. I remember commenting on the ripples of the crosswalk during my first round of reactions. I do miss that halftime music. Okay, so he's gathering the courage to talk to Asahi. Suga can't hold himself back. He's already getting intense in the conversation. I've seen this happen before where someone just gets tired of losing or getting blocked, even if they're a great talent. And they feel like they let their team down so much that they just don't want to play sports again because it's too painful. This is a real reaction by some athletes. Look at the perspective of this drawing here. The shelf on the left side, we have those 2-point perspective lines where every line kind of converges to a single point, and every item in the shelf is different. Every book is at a different angle. We have different items in there, different bags. That already takes enough effort. And then we have the desks here also communicating the perspective because they're all kind of going back into space at the same perspective line. But each desk is turned slightly left or right, and that makes that drawing so much more difficult because if all the desks were lined up perfectly, you just trace the same line and then put gaps in between the desk. But not only do you have to communicate the perspective and depth of the room by having the desk be smaller as it goes back in space, but you also have to change the angle, which is like a 3-point perspective as the desks are getting smaller and being turned at different angles. Some very, very, very skilled illustration and animation. They got the first taste. I think it's cute that Hinata hid behind Kageyama. Even though there's not a lot of volleyball action going on, there's just some amazing animation happening. Look at this phone wire. A lot of you guys probably just all have cell phones or cordless phones now, but if you've ever used a corded phone, or I don't know if it's called corded phone, a phone with a cord, the way it spirals, but look at how the coil kind of stretches and then retracts and then has a delayed swing from Takeda Sensei putting the phone back. So he puts the phone back and then the wire follows that. That in itself was really difficult to animate. Stretch. So he kind of swings as he puts the phone back. And even that paper has like a different type of frayed edge on the left. All these details, such great detail. Yeah, he's got the big body, lots of muscle on those bones. I think it's funny how he's the only character that they've given facial hair to. Maybe just to show that he kind of has more of a manly figure. That physically he can be dominant. And he's walking away with slumped shoulders. The go-to player. Trusted him. At the end of the day, people just don't want you to give up. It's okay if you get blocked. But sometimes you can care too much. I think there's also like a selfishness where you feel too responsible for the team instead of sharing the responsibility. Rolling. Make sure you guys watch my video where I actually try out Nishinoya's techniques. And I was able to do the rolling thunder and say it at the same time. I wonder if Yamaguchi's laughing only because Suki's laughing. He's always gonna have a fan in Hinata. Golden Week training camp, where they eat the barbecue and look at all the pretty female assistants. Nekoma. Totally forgot about them. The cats. The battle of the garbage dump. It's just funny how they put the battle in the garbage dump. Why can't they just have a battle in the field or something? Why does it have to be in the alleyway? Oh, see, there we go with Takeda Sensei's conniving smile. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about his personality. He seems very put together, like a formal teacher, poet, but he has these moments where he's got a little sinister side to him. Sinister in a good way. Oh. The sneezing. Now I get it. I think that was the first sneeze reference. City's boys. Is it because Asahi's not playing? Why is he not gonna play? Is he really not going to play if Asahi's not going to play? Oh, so thoughtful of him. Wow, that's very sentimental. He doesn't want to do it without Asahi because he knows that would just... Wow, let me process that for a second. Nishinoya doesn't want to play without Asahi, not because they're just buddies or he cares about him, but he knows that that will solidify the chance of Asahi never coming back. Because if they can win without Asahi, then Asahi would feel like, well, I guess the team really doesn't need me. That's like such a complex, deep sense of loyalty and care for a teammate. And you can tell with the music, it's just getting more and more somber. I forgot how many conversations that they have between Kageyama and Hinata. He's imitating Kageyama. He's even got his hair down. Look at that. He's pressing his hair down. His hair actually does look like Kageyama. I was just gonna say, it's very rare that they just talk calmly and then not fight. Ooh, that was an intense animation there. This is like the animation where the villain is like charging up for their most powerful special move or fireball or about to destroy the planet here. I like how when Kageyama throws him, he lands perfectly just to add a different level of annoyance. Wow, so perceptive of Hinata. Everyone on our team should be an ally. I don't like it when we get along, and Kageyama just couldn't say anything to that because he knows it's true. Oh, the knife hand in the side. Ooh, I'm getting chills already, anticipating the scene where Asahi is yelling Tsuga, and then he crushes it. I can't wait to watch that scene again. Ah, this music, this ethereal, angelic tone, just building up to that emotion of that moment. I was actually complimenting Kageyama. Oh, she's just explaining the visual of how great it feels to be able to spike past the block or over the net. And I like that Asahi is kind of replying in his head and not out loud because he's just still so downtrodden from what happened. Hinata just holding that anticipation, hoping that his speech convinced Asahi. I love that even Kageyama's just opening up himself, saying, hey, I learned that for myself, so it takes a team to win. Who would have thought that the first years were the ones to convince Asahi to come back to the court? But the sound. Or maybe he gets to see their potential. And Asahi gets to remember what it feels like again, the joy of spiking, not just the heartache of getting blocked, the joy of dominating and spiking. Let's see what the preview has. Oh, that's right, he gets blocked a couple times first, and I remember the team is waiting to see what he's gonna do. Is he gonna melt down again the first time? Here's my immediate reaction to episode 8. I remember when I first watched this, I just wanted to get through the episode because I just wanted to see more volleyball action and see what Asahi could do. But this time around, it was nice to have a slower, more story-based pace because you get to appreciate Asahi's journey that much more. And also, the evolution of Hinata and Kageyama's relationship continues to evolve. We see how much more initiative Kageyama and Hinata are taking and how they both are trying to convince Asahi in their own ways. Hinata's just a ball of energy expressing how great it feels to get a spike, and then Kageyama gives more of the objective perspective of it takes a team to win, not just one person. And over time, we start to see Asahi's facial expression change. And each time someone talks to him, he thinks a little bit more about what it was like to be a volleyball player again. So I cannot wait for the next episode. I think it's the next episode where Asahi is demanding the ball from Suga. Don't forget to watch all my other Haikyuu reaction videos from round 2 in this playlist right here. And I know you're gonna like this video right here.